Hey, I'm back with another video. It's 8:45 p.m. It is November 26th. It is Sunday evening. Happy Sunday. And I am so sorry for getting a late Sunday video up, but I've been really busy today putting together a video for Patreon. And, I've been having issues with Patreon, meaning um, the fact that people know who I am and it seems as though I have no subscribers, which I know that I do. But anyway, I'm trying to get things worked out. I haven't actually approached them about it because I don't expect any clear, direct answer. But it frustrates me. Okay, it really does, especially when you're trying to make money. And I won't be on unemployment until I think. Well, I think my employment runs out in December. I'm trying to get things kind of steady, try to work towards things, and it's like I'm trying to make plans, and it's kind of hard to do that when that's kind of going on. But anyway, so usually on Sundays I like to talk about moral issues or whatever. But as last week where my video was kind of going off in another direction, it is kind of doing that again today. Maria's in her head again. Anytime it seems like anytime I get some free time, it just kind of goes right back to the whole, you know, weird twist that this whole thing took, and or turn I should say. And it kind of, it kind of throws me off a little bit. It's not easy to digest. So I'm still coming to grips with all of that. It's very traumatic. No, I'm calling this video "No Moral Lesson." I'm basically getting the message, when I was doing meditation earlier, that I was getting the message that a lot of people really want me to talk about this whole reincarnation thing. And really, there's not much for me to tell you. I don't know or have memories of the person that I used to be. The messages that I'm getting though is that I've been with my father in many lives, okay? And our relationship sometimes was platonic. It seems like there may have been a time where, this sounds so weird to say, but me and my adoptive father in previous lives were probably more than friends. Which seems so strange because I only know or remember my father as my father, and he always treated me and loved me as a daughter, meaning there was never any sort of romantic relationship between me and my father. So it's kind of weird when you think about this, but obviously there's a bond there, a very strong bond that goes beyond things like sex or anything. It's just like someone who appreciates you for who you are, and it's a very strong bond. That's one of the reasons why it continues in different lives. That much I know. But it's specific details I really don't know. And honestly, coming to understand that I've had more lives than even more than the prince, I'm trying to take things as they come. You know what I mean? I'm overwhelmed enough with that already. So to try to sit here and dig out and figure out all these other lives, it's a little much. Maybe in the future, and I definitely will look into them. And that part of my reasons for making the Swan Song Manifesto is because as this part or this time in my life, as I get older, I'm going through transitions, and part of my transition is, number one, I do want to share knowledge with people, and then I also do want to talk about what is the process in as you get older and what happens in the death process. Now, I have no interest in dying right now, but it is a part of it because I've always thought that those things should be recorded in some way, because a lot of people have this curiosity about what goes on as you get older. And as I get older and I start to shift into that direction, I can share that on my with people on that Patreon channel. um, all I really know right now is that I believe that I am Prince Alamehu, and that me and my father have uh, go back several lifetimes, several. And um, that I appreciate that bond, I really do. But anything specific, I don't know. I also do know that, obviously my personality is always been different than the siblings that I knew that I was growing up in this present life. And I understand now that this is the reason why. And the reason why I'm gravitate towards certain things of interest and intrigue is because of my past life. Um, but specific details, I really don't know. I do believe that, based on my intuitive meditations, that obviously I've always had an interest in spirituality. That was something that carried over from my past life. And um, obviously that's part of the reason why I am the way that I am. But anyway, I did get a few messages that I wanted to share, and sorry, but there's just a lot going on, I guess. But I get this message um, that it's easy to get in touch with the Howlands, and there's no obstacles to meeting them if I want to. But the thing is, I get the message that it's easy to meet them, but I don't know where to start. Now, I know that sounds really silly. Oh, a Google search or something, but I don't know anything about the Howlands other than that they were my um, grandmother's relations on my father's side, and they were in from England, and apparently some of them still live in England. And I don't, I did kind of do a search, but nothing really came out. What came up was, some like Mayflower descendants and stuff, and I don't think that they were Mayflower descendants, obviously, and because from what I understand, that they were black people, probably from Egypt or Ethiopia, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe. I'm wondering how did they get the name Howland in the first place? Because I know that's not like a traditional um, Egyptian or Ethiopian name. There's so much. I feel like I'm just kind of overwhelmed, And plus, I'm trying to make content, so I really do would like to meet them if they do watch my videos. My email is in the description box. I would love to get a chance to know you, talk with you, meet you. That would be great. Also, the other message that I got was for me to address the issue of white fear and white flight and white supremacy. And when I talked about the Egyptians being black, part of this, my targeting was because this was a racial issue, and a racial issue that, don't get me wrong, I don't believe in racism. I really don't, but I understand that it exists, okay? And, I don't think it's ever called for, but I do understand why people do it, the psychological need behind it, and obviously the motive or whatever. But you know, um, all I can say is that there's really not much to say. This whole issue speaks for itself. So I'm not going to really go too much into it. I know that, you know, it's unfortunate that this happened, but it's also very eye-opening, and it's a lesson for everyone to learn that, and it can't be denied that obviously I've been dealt this injustice based on racial issues. And I think, I would say any sort of ism is based on fear, and obviously there was a lot of what I call irrational, unnecessary fear, because I've never wanted a position of power. Like, if someone like me wanted to get into office, I could see where people would be like a little bit nervous or whatever. But I stay out of politics. I mean, I literally was just minding my own business, and people jumped on me because they felt intimidated. And I know that the idea of Egyptians being black is very upsetting to a lot of people who hold, um, who believe or have racist ideas, because everyone knows that Egypt was an advanced civilization. And so, you know, the propaganda that we've experienced here in this country, who've had to learn or believe or be indoctrinated to believe that black people are inferior, that they were always and only slaves. It's only because there was a system that flipped it around. Okay, and I'm aware of that, very much aware of that. And because I'm aware of that, it is in no means, see, because I've been dealing with so much irrational targeting and, you know, abuse for just even acknowledging the fact that I was dealing with abuse, that I was having to deal with some sort of repercussion every time I stated, hey, you know, this happened to me or whatever, you know, throughout the course of my videos. And it's not about that. Like, I literally did not provoke the fight. So when we hear stories of people who've been lynched in the past or dealt with some sort of other shocking injustice where people just kind of like doubted it or whatever, don't doubt that this happened. Okay? And I mean, I had a lot of people who took advantage of the fact that people in power were like pulling at all of this. And the fact that they did, people felt entitled to do it. You know? And I'm certainly not somebody who wants to get involved in racial issues, and but I think, like I said, this issue speaks for itself. I don't need to do anything else, really. Okay. I think what white people fear is the fact that they fear that black people are going to want justice, and that they're going to somehow try to get that justice. And in deep down inside of most white people's minds, they know that black people have a reason, a justification for how they feel, and they're right about that. You know, this is where it becomes very awkward for a lot of white people to deal with. Okay, but mind you, I didn't ask for this. All I did was come out being an intelligent person, and I got attacked. So when we talk about racism in this country and act as if it doesn't exist, it does exist. And this issue obviously is a good example of it. Okay. But like I said, you know, I'm not somebody who is going to retaliate. I'm just trying to finish out the rest of my life in peace. Seriously. That's how it's always been. I am not interested in fighting for worldly power. I don't want worldly power. You know, I'm all about meditation and connecting and spirituality. I've never been involved in politics in any way. You know, but I'm sure there's some black people in this country and other parts of the world who probably do want to pick up on this issue and do whatever they want with it. I'm not interested in violence or anything like that. I just, you know, I'm just trying to move on with my life. Also, the other issue is that a lot of people are talking very positively right now on social media. I do appreciate that. The warm and nice things that are being said about me. Unfortunately, you know, I never get to see and experience that. They did cut me off from the outside world, meaning, you know, they've told people not to talk to me or communicate with me, so I don't get messages. You know, I don't get messages directly. And that's part of the bullying tactics that they do, as well as you're not letting you see your numbers. Like I said, when it comes to my Patreon issue, you know, I really don't think it's possible for me to have no one subscribe to my channel. I really don't believe that's possible. I don't, you know, I'm hoping that fixes itself out, because like I said, I am not in any way guilty for any of this. The next message I had, same thing. It was like, it's impossible not to have Patreon viewers. I'm going to pause this really quick because I want to show you guys something. Okay, so this particular drawing is something that I do remember when I was living at Edwards Air Force Base. It was what I used to call and refer to as a backwards 3. Now, this 3 is not backwards, but I insisted on calling it a backwards 3 at one time. I do not know why I called it a backwards 3. The only thing about this 3, okay, is that, in the middle of it, where it's supposed to be connected, there's kind of a gap. Okay. And I remember drawing this symbol when I was a kid and having like extreme power from it. Like, things would go off in my mind. Let's just put it that way. And so I just wanted to share that with you because that was one of the thoughts that came through my mind. And I just wanted to let you know and share with you what it looked like. Today is just one of those days where, I worked on my video most of the day. And then I was thinking a lot, to myself about how, just how sad this whole situation really is when I think about it because, a lot of people got hurt in it. I know that I did. I know that, it still, like I said in my last video that I made on YouTube, that I still, have problems feeling safe or relaxed or feeling like, I'm okay. Like I said, I don't foresee or have any feeling that somebody's out to get me, but at the same time, I always feel um, like nervousness will just come over me. And it's because of being badgered, being bullied relentlessly for pretty much all my life. That's pretty much how I feel. And what disturbs me the most, I think, is what is the power behind it. Like, at first I thought this was a work issue, and then I find out it was something else, and it's a lot. Okay, so when I first had my first channel, the Maria Gordon channel, doing 1,300 videos on the topic, and I was pretty stressed out then, thinking that, hey, I got these siblings that don't like me, and they did all this, and I'm thinking, okay, now it just kept snowballing to something bigger and something weirder, and now I'm just like, oh fuck, it's very, very mind blowing. So anyway, no moral to this story other than, you never know who you really are. Like, um, I had mentioned before that I thought that I was like my dad's family. I know my dad's father was a sharecropper, so I always just thought that we were like sharecropping people from, with roots in the United States. I did know that my grandmother came from England. I knew that, but I honestly thought that we were just. And then flipping all this stuff around, it's like, wow, this is something, And then thinking about, living before, and this is like something that is so completely different than what I originally thought it was, and it just throws me, it's a lot, But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I'm very tired. I've been kind of at it since I got up this morning. I have another video to do tomorrow. I'm hoping this whole Patreon issue gets cleared up because I really don't need any more stress. I deal with a lot of stress already. And I'm trying to take it easy in my later years, mainly because I want to focus on content. And I want to be able to just create content back to back without worrying all the time. I've had more anxiety in my life than the average person because of this. When it comes to the nature versus nurture experiment, um, I don't know what they concluded. Like, I would say this sort of experiment does prove that your DNA plays a huge role in your personality. It certainly does. I would also say that what are the effects of it? The psychological effects are devastating if that person finds out that they are indeed, they've been misled, and it does leave you feeling like you can never trust someone, that's one part that they have to consider, when they do these sort of experiments. Also, I know that certain people that I was around my environment when I was growing up. You know, I don't want to go too much into it, but I was around some interesting people, now that I look back on it. And I think it was supposed to, part of the study was supposed to, you know, determine or see how I interacted with them. I think that might have had something to do with it. It might have been a lot better, the experiment, had people not known who I was and would have given me the ability to just blend in to my environment instead of people saying, "Hey, this person's this, you know, she's the chosen one," or whatever, and then creating, you know, the chaos that was, you know, that I had to experience and the negativity that I had to experience, which, like I said, I've had a lifetime of negativity. So I don't know what it's like to deal with anybody who's sincere. I don't know what it's like to deal with anybody who is honest. I've only been stabbed in the back. I can't, and no one can say, hey, you know what, I blame Maria for feeling this way. That's been the reality. So I mean, there, sincerity and having a sincere relationship in my life, any kind of relationship, is almost impossible to do when you are in one of these experiments, because everybody is made to be pretty much a setup. So it is very difficult. Also, you know, I want to dress early. I know I make this noise with my mouth a lot, like, or that kind of sound. I wanted to explain that. I have a dental plate in the top of my mouth, and I have gotten into a habit of like kind of putting my tongue against it a lot, and I know it's annoying. I know that it is. I myself get annoyed with it, but I kept thinking, you know, I need to explain this to them because they're probably going to wonder, like, does she have some sort of nervous tick or something? I only have this nervous tick since I got this little plate in my mouth, okay? Other than that, it would happen, okay? It's just because it's not something that's natural for me to have it in there. And then, you know, it's just something that I do. It's just like, because it's so, I don't know. It's just a habit I developed, and I'm hoping that it won't affect anything, and I'm definitely trying to stop doing it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope that I'll have a better video for you next time. Oh, I did want to do some celebrity shout outs really quick. I only have a few. I wanted to say hello to Jane Whelan. I just think you're so great. I miss seeing you in the Go-Go's, and I always thought you looked really cute playing your guitar. Also, I wanted to say hey to Eddie Vedder. I love your voice, and I think your music is great. Also, I've been thinking about Ray Davies from the Kinks. You know, I really do like their music. You know, I've always been a fan of theirs. And I also want to say hi to Christina Applegate. And then, because I've always been a fan of hers. And I liked The Dead to Me show. I've watched all those episodes. And that was a show that I was actually getting into. You know, I think it's because, you know, it had the whole best friend type thing in there. And I think everybody wishes that they had a close friend like that, especially as you get to be an adult. Like, man, everybody wishes they had that, but that's so rare to have. And then the other person on my list, it would be Madonna. It's really good to see you. I think you look amazing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I'll be back with a new video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.